fits in the mouth of a child. That is the reason for that law, is because they will fit in the mouth of a child. And once it's 4 inches, you can't fit it in the mouth of a child anymore. Go figure. But so we talk about that. Cleaning and disinfecting stuff. Wear clean clothes. Scrub your shoes with disinfectant. This isn't every time you go to the chicken coop you need to scrub them with disinfectant, although my wife would like me to. This is more if you go duck hunting and come back home, or you go to the city pond that has ducks and you come back home, you go to someone else's house, come back home. That's when we need to scrub our shoes with disinfectants. The other thing, while light-up boots are not mandatory, I don't know why you wouldn't go with light-up boots. What is important with boots, if they're boots you're going to wear off the property and then come back, they need to be all rubber. The ones that have neoprene on them, really comfortable, they're great boots. Those are staying at home boots. Those can't be disinfected. That neoprene, it'll soak stuff in, you can't disinfect it. So a pair of just cheap rubber boots, or if you're going to wear them a lot, a pair of expensive rubber boots is worth the money to spend on them. But these can be easily disinfected, and that's really important. The second thing along with disinfecting boots is a good brush. Spend the extra 50 cents and get the long-handled brush, because it makes things a lot.
At work. See those
It makes things a lot easier than having the little tiny brush that you have to try and contort your body to do. The other thing is a little sprayer and some sort of disinfectant. We can use bleach. Bleach works just fine. There's some better options out there, which I believe the coastal stores are in the process of getting in stock. It's called Virkon. It's a lot safer than bleach. My wife won't let me use bleach anymore because she's tired of buying me new clothes. So it doesn't stain your clothes. It works actually really well, and things don't have to be absolutely sterile for it to work. You can spray it on wood, soaks into the wood, it'll disinfect the wood. But a little sprayer that doesn't have too many rubber parts to it, so not a trigger sprayer, is really handy. These are great. I use these all the time. But some sort of sprayer.
Concentration of bleach percentage?
1 to 5%. So not terribly strong, just enough you're kind of smelling a little bit. And then another thing is just a pan. These are, if you're having to wash your boots very often, you're going places, put a little disinfectant in this, you can step in it, makes it real nice. These also work as a really good dust bath if you're worried about mites, trying to prevent mites. Put some sand in this, put a little diatomaceous earth in with it. Chickens will bathe in this. If they're digging holes out in your garden to make a dust bath, give them something like this. There's lots of uses that you can use these for. But the key is disinfecting things when you if you bring new birds in, disinfect them. If you have a bird that gets sick or dies, disinfect your coop. At the end of the season when you put up your chick stuff, disinfect it. Disinfect it again when you get it out next year before you use them. You're not disinfecting every day when we're cleaning the pen out, but disinfect things periodically so that we don't get a buildup of bacteria and things in the coop and in their environment. Again, buy from reputable sources. Coastal's a great place. There's lots of hatcheries. There are some backyard hatcheries also that are certified by the state to be providing clean, reputable birds. Craigslist may not be the best place to be buying birds from, though. You have to kind of use some common sense there. So there are some very good producers that use Craigslist to sell, but you have to be a little discerning.
Where would you find out about birds for sale other than Craigslist?
You can look at Craigslist. If you're trying to find breeds that like Coastal or somewhere like that doesn't have, there are online hatcheries that are reputable national hatcheries. You can find them on Craigslist. You just have to be, if you pull up and you're kind of concerned of whether you start thinking back of when your last tattoo shop was. Probably not a reputable place.
However, you're not going to find someone selling one or two of a certain breed other than Craigslist.
Yeah, and that is true a lot of times. There's a program called the National Poultry Improvement Plan. It's nationwide. It's basically they're breeders who are usually raising specialty breeds, a lot of backyard breeders that are certified by their state. They do testing, they do inspections to be a low risk. And that's, if you Google, it's National Poultry Improvement Plan. I can't remember what the exact website is. I think it's poultryimprovement.org or something like that. You can enter in what breed you're looking for, and it'll pull up a list of every certified breeder in the country for that breed. So that's an option. If you're interested, you can catch me afterwards. I can point you in the right direction too. We've got, I think, 40-something breeders here in Oregon that are certified by us. So, Shelley says keep new birds separated for a short time, I say at least 30 days. We want to give these birds enough time that if they're going to get sick, they get sick before we put them in with our birds. If they're going to have mites, we find that ahead of time. And then clean your vehicles' cages, not so much when you go to coastal, but if you go to that breeder who, you drive down their muddy driveway and go back home, clean stuff out. Try not to share equipment with other people who have poultry as much as possible. If you do, just disinfect it real well. Let that disinfectant sit at least 20 minutes before you rinse it back off. And then generally I recommend people to let the equipment dry overnight before you then take it out and use it. Knowing signs of sicknesses and knowing how your birds act normally, catching them early on is critical for these diseases that can be treated. Be careful not to touch sick or dead birds. If you have one die, use a plastic garbage bag or something to reach through and grab that. In just a second, I've got 2 slides left. If you do have sick birds that you're concerned about, or if you have some birds start dying, let us know. So this top hotline there, that rings to our office. If it's during the business day, it'll get answered. If not, you leave a voicemail, we'll call it back. You'll actually get a call back from either myself or my counterpart in Eastern Oregon. And we'll walk through what's going on, ask you a whole bunch of questions, kind of do a risk assessment. If we're concerned, if we think there's a risk that it could be avian influenza, we'll come out. Either us or one of the vets we work with, we'll send a vet out free of charge, collect samples, get testing done, and get you answers. Make sure it's not influenza, try and figure out what it is, free of charge. Department of Fish and Wildlife also has a hotline for wild birds if you find wild birds around.
Did you have a card with those numbers on or something?
I do. So there's some great little poster things here that actually have basically my entire 20 minutes of talking distilled down
No,
into
it's
one
not
piece of
all
paper.
on there.
But it kind of goes through it lists out some of the symptoms, lists out some of the 6 different biosecurity measures, and it has both hotlines on there. So with that, there's a couple other, our websites are great places to look. But that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions for me or for Shelly or?
Better hear some questions.
Disposal of a bird?
So it's a good question. So if you have a bird that dies, you're not concerned, say it got killed by a raccoon, you're trying to figure out what to do with it. Double bag it, put it in 2 garbage bags, and it can go in your garbage.
I just dig a hole.
Or you can dig a hole and bury it. You can compost it if you want. There's lots of different ways you can get rid of it. Composting is, you have to be careful how you compost it, but you can do that. The easiest is just double bag it, throw it in garbage. So, yeah.
How long do chickens lay eggs? How old are they?
Typically 3 to 5 years, depending on the breed. It can vary, and some of it depends too if you let them molt in the winter and stop laying, or keep lights on, keep them all winter. Yeah.
So pretty much like the longer you've known your bird, the easier it is to tell them.
Absolutely. Yep. If you know what they act like normally, and then they start acting funny, there's probably something causing them. Yep. Yeah.
I have a rooster with the black northern lights, or
Okay.
what they call it. All right, and so just today I put the sedum dust, and I just found out it doesn't kill the eggs. How do I go about now killing the eggs?
The diatomaceous earth will kill the eggs, won't it?
Yes.
Just keep treating for the cycle, the life
so
cycle.
the key, diatomaceous earth does act some on the eggs. It really kills the larva for the most part, but whatever you do, you want to continue treating. The great thing of diatomaceous earth is you can put it in a dust bath, put it around the chicken coop, and it'll keep, working.
How often should I do it?
It really depends. My favorite way really to use diatomaceous earth is in like a dust bath, and then the chickens treat themselves every day.
Do I have to worry about putting that, since I just treated it in a different way, or
Because it's not because as Darcy mentioned earlier, it's not a chemical.
right?
It's not a poison or anything like that. It's just it's an inert,
Little sharp thing.
little sharp things that.
Well,
the
you
one
need a
thing-
bag of feather fixture.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, don't go online and find diatomaceous earth that's like a third the cost and buy it. Because there's 2 grades of diatomaceous earth. One is food grade, perfectly safe. The other is industrial grade. And it is categorized as equally as carcinogenic as asbestos. So you have to be wearing significant protection for that. That's used in like industrial, like abrasives and that kind of stuff.
Good question. Pass that back to her, would you?
And you won't find industrial grade at a pet store. That's you find that on eBay or on Amazon or something like that.
What about the mice that like get up in their scales and their legs? Will that
Scale mites.
scale mice? We had a rooster that I rescued, and he came to us with nasty looking scales, and we kept them separated.
One of the best treatments I've found for that is actually just spraying olive oil. Keep their legs pretty well soaked in olive oil.
That sounds really bad, but we looked online and we dipped his feet in gasoline.
That's another one that
Okay.
works too.
Did he enjoy that?
Gasoline and, the olive.
No, he wasn't real.
I was
The
gonna
olive
say,
oil
I
is
don't think I would do that.
And then we
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
Vaseline
it's some
over top.
any sort of yeah.
He's
The
he's
olive oil
fine
is
now. It's still kinda
slightly
scarred.
less caustic to them and slightly
Will the
less
diatomaceous
explosive.
earth help prevent it?
Probably not. I mean, it'll keep them out of the environment. The diatomaceous earth doesn't do a very good job of getting up in this.
That's kind of weird.
Good questions, you guys. Any more? I have more.
So, if you like have a duck and you have more of a kind of a open kind of water feeder, like, would other wild birds maybe come and like try and bathe in that and
Yeah,
they
so you
get
want it-
sick?
Yeah, so you want to try and keep the wild birds away. So if you can, keep a cover over the pond or water.
That was
feature,
how both
fence it.
incidents.
Yeah.
Both incidents of avian influenza. They had a pond that their
And
chickens.
we do know it's in this area. We know it's all over the country at this point. We've had a case here. So
Do you have a question?
We have a pond a little way away from our house.
Uh-huh.
Would ducks come to our house after?
After they go to the pond?
After they
Is
go
it
to
on
the
your
pond?
property? Will your chickens be able to get to the pond? It's too far away, buddy. Okay, good. You're good. See.
that's that keeping separate.
Yeah.
You can if there's enough distance between them, they won't go all the way down there.
So the way to protect your birds, if you had like an open kind of feeder, would that be to like maybe cover part of it up so that way they can only get their head in and they can't actually get in it?
Awesome. The feeder's not quite as big of an issue. It's more the ponds, lakes, streams.
So like sparrows getting in my coops, probably not a big
There
deal.
are other things they can transmit. Mites are one of them. There's a few other, less serious
And
diseases they can carry. But
rats. I've killed so many rats.
yeah, I mean, there comes a point where the amount of effort and bird proofing that it takes to keep a sparrow out of a coop just isn't worth the tiny risk they pose. Whereas the risk that's posed by waterfowl is significant.
Like wild turkeys getting in with my turkeys.
The wild turkeys don't cause much, actually. Yeah.
They're just eating your good food.
We had that
My Tom keeps attracting a lot of females.
Yes,
we had
exactly.
that concern when we first had that first influenza case, because we know that there's so many wild turkeys in this area, and we did a lot of research on that, and what we found is they can get infected, but turkeys are actually the most susceptible species, second to guinea fowl actually.
Yeah.
Guinea fowl are the most susceptible, but turkeys are the second most. They die like instantly. That's why I used the example of those big turkey houses.
Right.
Is, they go from fine to dead just like that. So the wild turkeys, they're not. If they're infected, they're not going to be getting in with your bird.
No, I have a guinea, and it's a rooster, and he chases all of the birds away from food. His mate died, and so now he keeps the other roosters. He thinks all the hens are his flock, and just keeps them from eating sometimes.
Don't turn the lights off.
It helped to get him a few more hens so that he could, possibly just kind of go off with her.
Guineas tend not to be very easygoing birds to begin with, so that may just be
He's my son's bird, so I gotta do it.
Good questions, guys. Before they turn the lights off on us, though, we're gonna do some drawings for some free feed and products, but we'll still do questions. So there, draw one for. Or Darcy's already got one. She doesn't need us, right?
Mules and dogs, and we're thinking of getting guineas. So the influenza does not affect other animals.
No. It affects the guineas, but
Love dirty water.
no, not the dogs and
Is
mules, those kind of
never
things. No.
good. But the guinea hens are more susceptible to it.
They're on about the same level as the guinea.
Ron and Beverly Keeper.
All right. So we've got two kinds of chicks